Today, I'll be talking about supercharging Power Apps with Azure Functions. So we will be building a digital business card generator and supercharge the Power Apps with Pro Code and use Azure Functions in this case. A little bit about me before we get started. My name is Salja Mantripragada. I run a company called lowcodepower.com. I'm a Power Platform architect with around 20 years in the Microsoft space, doing SharePoint and 7 years of Power Platform. And I'm also a mentor at the Women in Power community. I'm a Microsoft certified trainer and I blog at lowcodepower.com. You can connect with me on LinkedIn. Let's get started. So let's get into the challenge we're talking about. So Power Apps is really powerful for rapid application development and as you all know, for a lot of use cases, right? But there are some limitations that are inherent, which sometimes limit you to extend it to enterprise scalable scenarios. So, for example, no custom libraries. The main part is no server-side processing. So everything happens in the Power FX world. So limited computational capabilities, and if you have to do complex algorithms, it would be difficult. For example, I've taken a use case where we're generating QR codes, which is relatable for everyone. So if you were to generate a QR code for just one contact, that's easy. You could connect your Power App to HTTP connector, call a QR code API and do it, right? But imagine, like I'm sure everybody has attended, many of us have attended all these conferences where you have like 5,000 people coming to the conference and you want to generate QR codes for all your badges, event badges, right? In those kind of scenarios, Power Platform or Power Apps falls a little short. So the solution is Azure Functions. So what is Azure Function, right? It is Microsoft's serverless compute service that runs code on demand and without managing infrastructure. You do not have to worry about infrastructure. It's serverless. And the best part is it's extremely cost effective. So I said 5,000 runs, right? So you only get charged each time you run that particular function. And we are talking on the bottom of the screen that there's 1 million free executions per month, and 5,000 is really small, right? So it scales automatically, handles any load automatically. What I love about this is you could be running a Java application and be able to call an Azure function written in Python, JavaScript, or C#. So we're using one such Azure function today. This is the architecture. So we have a Power Apps form, and user enters contact information, and Power Apps builds your VCard format string. We send it to Power Automate. So Power Automate, we're using Power Automate for orchestration here. Power Automate calls Azure function that we created. And the Azure function returns a QR. It calls a QR code API and returns a QR code URL to Power Automate, which in turn returns it to our Power Apps. So I'll be generating a business card with all with formatted data, and what happens then is the user scans the QR code and saves contact. Everything happens under 3 seconds. So let's look at the demo. Yeah. Let's refresh just in case. So this is our Power App, a Canvas app. We will be filling out information. And when you say create business card, requesting demo gods to help. Okay, so it creates a neat business card with QR code, right? So let me just scan. I'll see if I'm able to show you what I get. So in the it shows you you're able to directly save your contact from the QR code. So that's what happened. Let's discuss some internals and what happened behind the screens. So like I mentioned earlier, when you click on create business card, internally I'm calling a Power Automate flow. We have a Power Automate flow called generate QR code. So this flow accepts your contact data that we said from Power Apps, we create a contact card with all these details in it, send it to the flow through the text called contact data, and then you use a compose action to just get what you got from the contact data and convert it into JSON and use a HTTP connector. And here's where I call my Azure function. For authentication, I'm using function keys here. We'll talk about how to make sure you do it better in production. This is for the purpose of the demo. So we call the Azure function. The Azure function returns a QR code URL, and we send back the QR code URL from Power Automate to using this action called respond to a Power App. And the QR code URL is sent back to our Power Apps. So within Power Apps, so again, when we run this, when I say create business card, so what we're doing is the QR code URL that has been sent back, so this image captures we're capturing that QR code URL and then showing it in your nicely formatted business card. So this is the demo I wanted to show. There are internal considerations and strategy that should go into decision making. So back to our slides. So here, like I said, we're doing function level authentication, and we're URL encoding for special characters, and we give back a clean JSON response format. A VCard is a format, it's a universal standard contact information format. It's recognized by all smartphones. You get an instant add to contacts prompt, no manual data entry required. So, and then, so this is the decision framework I want to talk about. So when to use Azure Functions and when not to. So whenever you have complex business logic required, um, whenever you need to have detailed complicated runs, right? Like how if you just want to create one QR code, you're good, but otherwise, when you have complex business logic, multiple API orchestration, external API doesn't support cores. Um, when you have cross-tenant integration, in this case, right? So my Power Automate flow was in a different tenant than my Azure function. So when you have cross-tenant integration, you need to do, it happens in many enterprises. I initially wanted to do everything in one, within one tenant and use an HTTP connector to show you what happens. But I chose to use Power Automate in between because that helps with orchestration and you can actually do cross-tenant integration. So when there's no sensitive data involved, if you're just rapid prototyping for demos, just use and low complexity scenarios, you can use direct API calls from Power Apps. So some other use cases, like I said, event management, QR codes for attendees. If you're in healthcare, you want to create patient wristbands, anything that almost involves complex, custom ML model predictions. Document processing is a big scenario. Like, huge computations happen within a second, so it's a great win at low cost. So some key takeaways: extend, don't replace. So Power Apps comes with its own great capabilities. So it's a very good idea to extend instead of like going everything from the scratch and doing it full stack. So serverless is pay per use and 1 million free executions per month. I'd say focus on like another key takeaway is enterprise integration, like I mentioned earlier. Build with governance first mentality. So yeah, in production, if you're doing this in production, I used function keys. We would use Azure AD authentication. Make sure the input validation is done correctly. You do not want QR codes for random names and email addresses. Use Azure Key Vault for secrets and a bunch of things here. I don't know if I crossed my time, but yeah, version control, use Git and CI/CD pipelines and have environment separation and logging and everything. So thank you. That's all I have.